Almost a year ago, and I can't believe it's been that long, I talked about my theory on Gotham Knights that Batman isn't really dead, or that he is, and that he's a Talon, which is a theory that a lot of people have thrown around. And while it is possible that everything's above board, unlike the Arkham Knight villain reveal, and this is not a sleight of hand, that he truly is gone, I kind of came to a different conclusion over the last year. Again, it's been almost a year, I can't believe it, but we're like less than a month away. But the conclusion I've come to is it just doesn't really matter whether or not Batman's dead or not in this game. And I kind of want to talk about this and get your opinion on whether or not anyone really cares if Batman's alive or dead in Gotham Knights. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. We're going to be doing a lot of different stuff going forward in the coming months, and I can't wait to show you what's coming up because I'm excited. So, Batman is dead. That's kind of one of the main pitches of Gotham Knights, is essentially, you know that ending at the end of Batman Arkham Knight where you have the whole Nightfall and everything and it's like alleged that he died, right? Well, this is a different continuity. Even though it starts out similarly, this is a whole new ballpark, a whole new place to play around, and a whole new continuity. We don't have a lot of the story yet, except for the little things that WB has released. And we do also know that the prequel comic Batman Gotham Knights Gilded City will cover Batman and some other stuff going on, including the plague that's affecting Gotham. So there will be some build-up in the form of a comic book. We know most people who play the game won't read that. That's not a knock on comics. That's just a statistical fact. The crossover is not as big as people would think, but it is there if people want their little slice of this Batman. But that kind of brings me down to what I wanted to talk about, which is the fact that we don't really know this Batman. This Batman doesn't really matter to anyone. And yes, I know that Batman is Batman, but what's the difference between this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy? And hell, even this guy, and I could go on and on. Well, all of these guys are Batman, right? But they're not the same person. That's what's very interesting. They're all Batman, they're all Bruce Wayne, but they all have differences. They all have things that make them unique individuals, right? This was one of the big interesting things about the whole multiverse idea in comics, about the whole different interpretations and adaptations idea in media, is that this guy can be Batman, and so can this guy over here. But they're not necessarily the same guy, which is kind of my problem with Gotham Knights going into it. When the emotional charge pitch is on the death of Batman, you kind of have to have it be a Batman that we care about, right? And I know there's going to be people who are just like, well, I care about every single Batman out there, from the one who appears one time on a cereal box continuity to Batman the Animated Series. They all matter to me. But I'm going to be honest with you, they don't all matter to me. I love Batman, but for me to enjoy the character and get into it, the character has to be competently written, built up, interesting, and have stories behind him, right? That is what a character really is. The problem I have with Gotham Knights going into it when it comes to the pitch of Batman being dead is it's just not a Batman we know. It's not a Batman we've gotten acquainted with. It's not a Batman we have a history with. And it's just going to be someone who died pretty much in the opening act. Now, I am pretty much sure that there will be lots of stuff building up to us caring about Batman over the time of the game. It would be very foolish not to do that. Things like flashbacks or lore dumps or journal entries or dialogue over time between characters. We've already seen some of this between characters like Jason and Dick Grayson, where they're talking about the passing of Bruce Wayne. So I do believe that over time there will be an attempt to make us care about Batman, but going into this game, at the very core of it, at the beginning of the thesis, the emotional idea that Batman is dead, it's just not something that really matters to me. I think it was originally because I was kind of coming off of the Arkham era, you know, and kind of thinking, well, I don't really understand why they went this way. And part of me still feels this way. I don't understand why you'd want to start a new continuity with this event instead of just picking up a handful of years after Arkham. But fair enough, you did that, and that's your choice, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean the game will be good or bad. Really, the game is going to be judgeable on its own merits. The story, the gameplay, its competent lore building and world building, how it flows. I mean, really, even the gameplay progression, not just how you play the game in like a minute-to-minute scenario, but how the game advances over time. Those things are going to be how you judge the game as a video game. But as a concept, an emotional concept, I just don't think this really resonates with me anymore. It's something I've been thinking about for a while and just kind of mulling over if I wanted to talk about, because I think a lot of people think I'm very negative on Gotham Knights, or I just don't like it or don't want to enjoy it. The fact is honestly the opposite. I think now that I've separated it completely from what came before, yes, there will be comparisons in characterization of like, well, I like this better here, or I like this better here, or maybe there will be comparisons in gameplay. But now that I feel it's more just its own thing, it kind of comes down to me in one big idea that whether Batman's dead or not, I don't really care. If you bring Batman back, and he is a Talon, right? And you were lawyering it, and he was dead, but revived by the court to be a Talon, and then he's back by the end of the story, or he's back in action in some way as Batman going forward. In a lot of ways, you've betrayed your own concept. You've done the Arkham Knight twist again, where you swear, no, this guy is not the Arkham Knight, this is a new character, and then it turns out to be someone we've known, right? That kind of betrays the twist and betrays the concept that you're going for. But if he is dead, it also equally isn't impactful and doesn't matter to me because I never knew him and I don't care. This is kind of what I wanted to lay out here today and get your opinion on. I didn't want to make it too long. I wanted to be very to the point and kind of address why I felt that way. And also say, because I know a lot of people, when one negative thing is said about something they're excited for, they tune out and leave. So if you see people in the comments doing that, I am buying the game. I'm actually excited to play the game. My plan right now, unless there's some kind of drastic change, is to play through this game co-op with my wife Jill over on our Let's Play channel, Degenerate Plays. So that's my plan right now, is to have a good time on this game. I hope to enjoy it. I hope to have a fun time. So far, I like the cosmetics, and I like what I've been seeing in the last couple months, especially compared to earlier on. But interested to hear your thoughts down below. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Also, speaking of Jill, she has started her very own shop, her very own website, enchantedglamour.com, where she does have lots of jewelry and stuff for all ages, but also she is posting repurposed comic resin art. So what's really cool about this is that these were basically comic books that were going to be thrown out. They were going to be recycled. They were just getting tossed. And what we were able to do was take these, reclaim the paper, use it in sort of an artistic venture and make something original out of it that's transformative, unique, and interesting. And I hope you'll check that stuff out over on her website. The link is in the description down below. Have a fantastic day. And as always, everyone, stay shway.